Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another Monday with Conversations with a Masterful Raconteur. I am your host, Florida's own, Barry S. McLeod, the right kind of different. I want to talk about uh, monkeys, but I'm going to start with the Super Bowl and I'm going to end with plans. Everybody know where I'm coming from with this monkey business, right? Okay, before I jump in, let me remind you this podcast is brought to you by Bingin, BBINGN, BBINGN.com. Y'all check out Bingin when you get a chance. And I want to alert everyone that I can in Duval, Jacksonville, Florida, that Florida's own band is going to be at the Sugar Shack um, this Valentine's. Um, Go to my page and look at the flyers for the address. I actually just got back in town about an hour ago from a long road trip, and I'm a little unorganized right now, so I don't have the address readily available to give you. Um, and the address that's on the flyer, by the way, Google will find you that address. Some people, actually include myself, when you Google the address, it doesn't show you all the details. So, but if you, when you get ready to come to the show, um, and you Google that address, it will take you right to the Sugar Shack. Um, on the 21st of this month, Florida's own band will be rocking the house again in Dunellen, Florida. And on March the 21st in Gainesville at the Cotton Club Museum and banquet facility. That's October 21st. I will be bringing the Florida Storm Comedy Tour and Jam, featuring some of your best comedians here in the state of Florida. Also, the best band in the state of Florida, Florida's own band. So, y'all save the date, mark your calendars. If you're in Jacksonville for Valentine's, the Sugar Shack, Google it. Florida's own band is going to be there, bringing some good old school, classic rocking R&B, soul, jazz, blues. We have a really tight band, and we're going to have a really good time. Brought to you by uh, Antonio JJ Bands and DJ Finesse. And there's going to be some other special things that's going to be going on that same night. So, if you're a couple, it's be a nice occasion for you. If you're single, it might be a grand opportunity for you to meet somebody really special. So you might want to be ready to meet us down at the Sugar Shack on February the 14th, Valentine's night. And again, if you're in the Dunellen area, Dunellen, Florida, February 21st, we will be there. And at the Cotton Club in Gainesville, March the 21st. So save the dates, okay? Now, for those of you who watched the Super Bowl last night, my team won. I knew it. That defense, that defense was just so incredibly awesome. You know, um, a lot of people, watch the Super Bowl. A lot of people watch the halftime show, and I'm going to salute Bad Bunny and Latino Nation. You know, I think the halftime show, it really represented the Super Bowl quite well. Fat Joe was explaining about the scene where he climbed up to the top of the telegram post. Because I remember when I was watching it, I didn't understand what that meant. And Fat Joe, he cleared it up for me as well as a lot of other people. He said that in their country, when the storms come, um, they have power outage issues. So I guess it was bringing some awareness to that, for particular reasons. And I think that's a very, very significant thing. I really appreciated and admired the way they had the little boy there that represented the kid that Ice, the story around Ice and the little boy. Um, they confirmed that that was not the actual young child. That was an actor, but he portrayed that young child quite well, and I think that that was really really good that they did that. I want to say to the Latino nation, if I can reach some of you with this message, I'd just like to say to you, you know, it would probably be a good idea from a very broad perspective that we bridge gaps. The black community, the Latino community, that we bridge gaps. There is good relationships, but there's also a divide, and it'd be smart, really smart. There's a lot of talk. Some of it is jokes, which I'm sure you all don't enjoy hearing about uh, who you voted for, and the person that you voted for kind of turned his back on you, making you look kind of bad, like you've been used and now abused. So you probably need to really look at that. You probably do need to really, really look at that, and and a process of building relationships with the black community here in the United States. That is not a bad idea. We should not be looking at each other like one is above the other, or one is better than the other, or one because of skin color there's going to be some favoritism to one side versus the other side, because you can see reality is not saying that, not in the present administration. And a lot of this that's going on in the present administration is not going to change if that if the current administration is no longer in position. A lot of those dynamics are not going to change. Okay, so you can hope however you want to hope and think whatever you want to think, but that is as clear and profound and substantial a message as you're going to get when it comes down to uh, people of color, and in particular the Latino community. Okay, you might want to think a whole lot about bridging gaps, and who you're going to support when it comes down to the leadership of this country. Um, the monkey business, man. You know, to allow this kind of foolishness, this kind of foolishness to represent you without you, because it represents you, and I'm talking about the current administration, president down, the Republican Party, everybody that has no problem at all with this. You know, it's fueling racism in such a grand way. And I just don't think it's smart. While our country, the United States, as with any country, our infrastructure has a lot of issues. And racism is just such a ignorant thing. Um, it's amazing to me how there are there are people who would think more and be more focused on racism and how to hate somebody than paying attention to the national security of our country. And I often ask myself this question: the people of color that's in our military, younger people, they're a different generation from what, like I was in, as I am a veteran, and my father was a veteran, and all the veterans from back in the day. You take, for example, the Vietnam War. Okay, um, a lot of soldiers black soldiers in particular were sent to the Vietnam War to protect the United States of America. And when they returned home from the war, from Vietnam and wherever else they were stationed, and they came back to the United States, they were treated like ends and disrespected, unappreciated, and yet they stood up and they fought and risked their lives and lost their lives and gave their lives for the sake of this country. And at the same time, while many black men, as well as some black women, while they were over risking their lives for this country, their parents, their grandparents, their children, nieces, nephews, the black community were being terrorized and totally disrespected and mistreated. And I just wonder, you know, will this new generation of people of color that's protecting the country, would they go and put their lives on the line knowing that their families, the people in the neighborhoods where they grew up, who they know personally and who they have some good relationships with, but especially their family, will they be willing to protect this country while at the same time their families are being treated? Because we see a trend in this country where some non-black people want to take things back to the old times and put black people in the same kind of situations that it was back in the day when I was a child. And the men and women that served in Vietnam back in those days, it was a different point in time, and they did the best they could, and they dealt with it. But with these young people, my question is, will these young people today go out and risk their lives while their families are being jerked around? I'm trying to stay as mild as I can with my words, but y'all know where I'm coming from. Will they do that? Or will they say, hey, hold it, Mr. President, hold it, generals, colonels, whoever. No, if we're going to go out here, we're going to put our lives on the line and fight for our country. You're not going to be disrespecting my mama and my daddy and my brothers, my nieces and my nephews, and my sisters. It's just, we're not going to have it both ways this time. I just wonder, do they think about that? Because if they are thinking that way, it's smart for them to keep their mouths shut and don't say it outwardly. Just be able to communicate with each other and establish and formulate a plan of action. And as you can see, this is how our country becomes weaker and our infrastructure gets weaker as a result of racism. It's like, I don't have a son in the military, but if ICE was here terrorizing me right now, locking me up, beating me, kicking me, shooting me, murdering me, I wonder if I had a son in the military, would he be all right protecting this country while this is happening to his father or his mother or his brother or his sister or his children? Because once you're in the military, you're old enough to have children. So, I just have these questions, and I wonder, because this is a different point in time. And racism, no way can racism be so strong, so strong that it is allowed to run rampant, that it is allowed to like as if it's really trickery because it's not, but to formulate laws and policies that seem like it's normal and necessary, but in actuality it's designed for something far more sinister when it comes to Black people and people of color, which is why I must reiterate that the Latino community, maybe I better rethink some things. There's a lot of beautiful relationships between some Latinos and some Black people. So I'm not saying or insinuating that there is no relationships. But with all of these people, it may be, somebody need to rethink something, because thinking that, the Black families already broke down. Black families is already discombobulated and fragmented to the point that we don't have enough Black men to even be real fathers, which is what the master plan was all about anyway, because so many of our men are incarcerated and dead. And now our children, too many of our children are shooting and killing each other. And it's just crazy. And it's just got our family structure so fragmented and discombobulated that I admire any Black family that there's a father and a mother in the household and they're raising their children right. But those families too are under attack because the laws say that you make one mistake, you get mad about something and you trying to, because somebody trying to break in your house or do harm to your home and do harm to your family, you got to be careful how you handle it, because the law will come and get you and further try to dismantle your family and try to ruin your family. So that is an example of what racism is doing. And so, this monkey business, make no mistake about it. They're saying that there's a video, which I did watch some of the video, and if in fact this all comes, that monkey stuff with former First Lady and President Barack Obama, if it actually comes from that same video, it's showing that the video entails other people in the video, and at the end of the video, the president Trump he's in the form of a monkey as well. The fact of the matter is, it's no secret that when you take a Black person and then you present them in the form of a monkey, that is about as racist as it's ever going to get. And so that was very racist for the video to be done, regardless to who you put in it. So I think it would have been classy of the president, regardless to how he feels about anybody. Let's just say, for example, he is a racist and he don't care for Black people. And by the way, I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to give y'all my take on president, racism, ICE, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to do a podcast about that. But let's just say he is a racist, right? He still should be concerned about his integrity as a leader, as someone to be admired and respected, from a worldview. So don't let the ignorance of racism, hurt your status like that. It's like he's so consumed by other racist energy that he's allowing people to get by with stuff that some of it he may not have had. It may not have even been his idea, but he has the answer for it. Okay. So, and I'm not saying that's what the case is or not. I don't know. But at the end of the day, because of the fact that he has to answer for it, I think that he should have enough integrity and class and dignity about himself that he would get this straight. Hey, look here, let me tell you something, America. Let me tell you something, world. Whoever did this monkey business stuff, I didn't authorize it, didn't know it was going to happen, even though it was done on my Twitter, my personal social media page. I did not know it was going to happen. And one thing I'm not going to do is allow myself to look ignorant and stupid and effed up on account of some ignorant, stupid, effed up stuff that somebody else did. I am the president of the United States, and I will maintain at least a perspective that I have some decency about me. Now, what I do behind closed doors, that's a different thing, because that applies to all of us, what we do behind closed doors. But when it comes to the public, when it comes to representing this country, there's too many parts and components of this country, the United States of America, that is too significant. It's too significant to allow the ugliness of racism to distort all of these different components that make up the United States of America, by which the president, whoever the president is, represents. Because it's not just about one person. It is about a country. It's not about a group of people who we know represent hate, white supremacists and all this stuff. It's not about them. We're talking about a whole country. We cannot allow a whole country to be represented by a group of racist people who could care less about dignity, integrity, and character and those kinds of things, as we are supposed to be positioned to set the example and set the bar for the world. So that's how impactful racism is. And there's no way that any president, Republican, Democrat, or Independent, should forfeit the quality of that office, that level of leadership, for some little effed up MFers. That's just fact. I'm a person that I believe in planning. So though, I'm going to keep saying here and there, these folks who are supposedly in leadership positions that represent people of color. And I'm gonna do a special podcast on people like Roland Martin. I hope Roland Martin gets to see this. And I'm gonna use him as an example to make my point, because he's not the right example that I want to use, but he is a fine example for what I want to say right now. But I'm really speaking beyond him, but I got to use him right now in this moment. But I really want to get to all of these so-called leaders who supposedly representing people of color, in particular the Black community. All of this rhetoric of what's wrong, and no plan, it doesn't work. We are what we eat. And if that's all you're going to feed us, then that's what we're going to be. Roland Martin, what I'm going to say about Roland Martin, this brother is so sharp. He is so smart. And Roland Martin, that man does his homework. He does his research. When Roland Martin comes out and he's bringing up some points and some issues, you don't have to agree with him. You don't have to like him, but that man be on point. He be on point. And I'm grateful for Roland Martin. And Roland Martin, I hope somebody sees this post and get it to you. Because what I want to say to you and people like you in your position, meaning your position, I don't know nothing about your personal world, brother. But you are somebody that you actually reach so many people. You impact so many people. And I want you to try this. If you're going to do a video post, a social media post, let's just say it's 5 minutes. Let's say it's 15 minutes. If you're going to do a show, and let me take a moment to apologize if I have, because I haven't been thorough enough with my homework. Okay, but I have watched you a lot over the years. And so you probably, if you could talk to me right now, you probably would say, yeah, brother, you haven't been thorough enough. You haven't paid attention to all the details of me. And so I will apologize to you if I'm wrong about this. But I want to say one thing to you, brother. And I want this to be an example to all of so-called Black leaders. If you're going to take up 2 minutes of our time to listen to you, only use out of 2 minutes, only use maybe 30 seconds to talk about what the problems are, and take up the other 1 minute and 30 seconds to talk about solutions, things that are actually realistic and doable for the average person. Okay, because remember, we are what we eat. If we just complain all the time and complain all the time, then people are just going to repeat that and complain all the time and become that. But once we change the narrative, once we change the strategy of communication, where if I'm going to talk for 5 minutes, no more than 2 minutes is going to be utilized to address issues. The other 3 minutes is going to be messaging or conversations about this is how we're going to do this and this is how we're going to do that. Voting is essential. We know that. But anybody that thinks that voting is all you got to do, you know good and well that is not enough. Because if you can get a bunch of people who don't necessarily vote or rarely vote or whatever to finally vote, what they're going to do is say, okay, doggone it, I voted. And they're going to walk away and say, now let's see what happened. Voting is not enough. And anybody that's on this level where I'm at, you know that I'm right. Voting is not enough. There has to be other plans of actions, and that's plural. That is plural. So, Roland, please, man, when you capture our attention from now on, give 25%. Somebody like you're too impactful and you're too positive and you're too much the right kind of, an example of the right kind of person that we need to be listening to. So however much time that you're going to give us, whether it's your show or social media, don't give us no more than 25% of your time addressing what's going on, and utilize the rest of that time to start talking about solutions, realistic call to action plans and efforts that is practical, that most anybody can do. And then we'll start seeing people saying, yeah, he talked about doing this plan of action, that plan of action. Yeah, I can do this one and I can do that. Remember, we are what we eat. And so sooner or later, the whole mindset begins to morph and advance and become better. And people start thinking about action plans far more than they're thinking about the complaints. That's how we do it. So with that note, I'm going to say good evening. Thanks for tuning in to Florida's own Barry S. McLeod. Truly the right kind of different.